I'm doing this video now because we've had our Hyundai Ioniq since last June, so it's now February 2018, and it works off Type 2 charger and CCS. So if you drive a car which uses CHAdeMO or Tesla, then I know nothing about that, and this video is specifically about CCS chargers really. Now, I like electric cars, and I wouldn't put anybody off buying an electric car, particularly if all you're doing is travelling within getting off a 100-mile radius of your home to work or whatever. We here in the middle of Kent can get into London and back again, to the East Coast and back again, no bother. It's the best car I've ever driven really, as a driving experience. And you just charge it up like you do your mobile phone on a night, and in the morning it's charged up and ready to go, easy as anything. The problem for us arises on longer journeys, and we go up to Leeds, up to Yorkshire, several times a year, and it's a distance of 270 miles each way. So on a good day, it takes us 4.5 hours, maybe 5 hours. And so on a CCS 50 kilowatt hour charger, it will take us about 45 minutes to charge up, waiting in a service station, which is okay, but by the time we've got off the motorway and back on it again and done our bits and bobs, we talk about 50 minutes to an hour. So what was a journey in a petrol car, our former petrol car, of say 5 hours, now can take 6-7 hours in total, which is, I knew and I expected, and it's a new industry, and that's fine, but that's on a 50 kilowatt charger. Now if you look at ZapMap, you'll see that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of charge points up and down the motorways and along the main roads. ZapMap is the free app that you'll turn to find all your chargers, and it's very good. But not all that many of them are 50 kilowatt hours on a CCS charger. You'll see there are ones which are 7 kilowatt, 14 kilowatt, 43 kilowatt. Doesn't really matter what the figures mean, except that on a 50 kilowatt charger it takes about 45 minutes. On a 4 or 7 kilowatt charger you're taking 4-7 hours, and nobody on a journey wants to spend 4 or 7 hours in a council car park or on a motorway service station. You only really want to do that if you're in the comfort of your own home, charging on a trickle charge through your socket in the house. I think if the industry is going to come of age, then all chargers up and down must be at least 50 kilowatt hours. Chargers, fast chargers, CCS chargers and more, particularly as we're getting bigger batteries and new cars, and therefore presumably it will take longer. Although it looks like there's a lot of chargers up and down, you've got to be aware that really if you're trying to get out and about on long distances, then you're limited to the 50 kilowatt hour ones, which by and large, in our experience, are provided by Ecotricity, a good company. If the charge point goes wrong or something, they are normally quite good at answering the phone, but I think that is just during working hours, not in the evenings or bank holidays or weekends. 50 kilowatt then is the main point I'm making here, but there are two other problems with charging up out and about on the motorway and on longer journeys. The second one is that you'll find from ZapMap that there are half a dozen, I think, main providers, but 20 to 30 other providers. Some of them, like councils, who are providing 4 and 7 kilowatt hour chargers, I think just making lip service to being green, say that they've got a charger in their car park. I don't know who uses them. Perhaps you do. Perhaps very successfully people do. I don't know. But no use for filling up, because they just take far too long. So you are limited to that, but a lot of them seem to require you to have an app in order to access them. Certainly Ecotricity do, and I think Paul and some of the others do. So you've got to, if you're on a long journey, you've got to think, well, what happens if my charge point is out of order or whatever? So you've got to get an app for perhaps your other charge point in that area. And it all adds to the general mystique, confusion, whatever. You wouldn't dream of getting an app for Texaco and Esso and Shell so that you could get some petrol before you moved on your journey. You've got all this faffing around to do with the app. You've got to work on your mobile phone while you're out in the service station, and you know, it's very small amounts of money as well for all this faffing around. When I get to Yorkshire, I pay more for the parking charge, and all that is putting coins in a slot than I do for the electricity on the way. Now we've got contactless cards. All you should be able to do is, like any petrol driver, just flash your card if you've got the money, get your fuel and away. We're not strange green people, eco people. All we're doing is trying to get fuel on our journey. 50 kilowatts, not too bad, but anything less is not acceptable. And this app business, it just adds to all the general confusion for relatively small amounts of money. The third issue I think I'm getting out and about is you've got no cover at all on any of these charge points from the elements. I've stood there on a cold December day last year with the rain sleet really coming at me at a 45-degree angle. And there I've got one hand trying to operate the machine, one hand with my phone out getting soaked, operating the app. I had to then get my wallet out. You may be more efficient than me, I don't know. You have to get your wallet out, to get your card out, to look at the 3-figure security number on the back of your debit card. I had to get my glasses, tried to use it with an umbrella, absolutely impossible. And all this while, you know, you're getting absolutely saturated while the guy getting his petrol is just undercover, up 5 minutes and away. I mean, it wouldn't take a great wit just to put a clear plastic bus shelter over some of these electricity points so that you're sheltered from the elements. So those 3 problems, I think, if the industry's going to come of age, and I know it's very young, and I know that the charge points will mature and will be different, and you know, I look at other kinds of charging, but I think they've really got to address those problems. The app is a nonsense, I think. If you've got the money, you should just be able to pull up, get your electricity and run, basically. And the fact that none of them, that we've discovered anyway, have got any kind of cover from the elements, I think is a real put-off for relatively inexpensive cost, really. So that's it. I think I might do another one on the Ionic, but that's simply my experiences of driving long distances in what is otherwise a very good car. Thank you and good night.